Hi everyone, I'm Lulu and welcome to our first show ever on God's Truth Will Prevail talk show. We're diving into a topic that everyone has an opinion on, money. More specifically, we're talking about the difference between how the rich and the poor view money, especially when it comes to paying bills. And to help break it all down, we have with us today financial coach and author, Jake Matthews. Jake, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's a conversation that doesn't get old, right?
Absolutely. So, let's jump right in. You've talked a lot about the mindset differences between the rich and the poor, especially when it comes to how they handle money. What's one of the biggest differences you've seen?
One of the biggest differences I've seen is that for a lot of people, especially those struggling with money, they see it as this thing they're always chasing. It's like a never-ending race. For them, money is all about survival. They get their paycheck, and before they can blink, it's gone. Rent, groceries, utilities, it's all gone to bills.
Right, it's like they're stuck in this cycle. Money comes in, money goes out, and they're just trying to keep their heads above water. Guest.
For them, money equals stress. And it's not just stress about today's bills, but about tomorrow's, next month's, next year's. There's this constant fear of, what if something goes wrong? Because they don't have a cushion. They can't think beyond the immediate bills because they're just trying to survive. They're in a reactive mode.
That sounds exhausting. So how is this different for wealthier people? What's their approach to money like?
It's completely different. For people who are wealthier, or who think like the wealthy, money isn't just about paying the bills. Sure, they have bills too, everyone does, but they don't focus solely on that. For them, money is a tool. They're not thinking, how do I survive? They're thinking, how can I make this money work for me? It's about creating opportunities, growing what they have, and making their money multiply.
So they're thinking long-term, while a lot of people are just thinking about getting to the next paycheck.
Exactly. The wealthy look at money as something that can grow. They're always thinking about how to invest it, where to put it so that it'll pay them back in the future. They're thinking about assets, stocks, real estate, businesses, things that will generate income down the line. For them, it's not about paying bills and being done. It's about setting themselves up so that eventually, they don't have to worry about bills.
That sounds like a major shift in mindset. So, if someone's living paycheck to paycheck, what keeps them from making that leap in how they think about money?
Honestly, it's tough. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, the mindset is often stuck in survival mode. You're constantly in this reactive state, just trying to keep up with bills, and that leaves very little room to think beyond that. The problem is, when you're only focused on surviving, it's hard to think about thriving. It becomes a cycle. Money comes in, bills take it all away, and then you're waiting for the next paycheck.
And when you're constantly stressed about money, it's hard to focus on things like investing, right?
Exactly. It's hard to think about investing or saving when you're worried about making rent next week. But that's the thing, if you never break out of that survival mindset, you're always going to be stuck in that cycle. The rich, on the other hand, have figured out how to stop thinking about money as just a way to pay bills, and instead, they think about how it can provide freedom. That's a huge mental shift.
Right, so for the rich, it's not just about having more money, it's about thinking differently about it.
It's not just about how much money they have, it's about how they use it and how they think about it. For a lot of people, money controls them. It's this thing they're always trying to catch up with. But for the wealthy, they've learned to control their money. They're proactive about it, they put it to work through investments, and over time, their money starts making money. So instead of constantly worrying about paying bills, they're thinking about how to grow their wealth.
And what's fascinating to me is that this isn't necessarily about earning more money, it's about changing how you approach it.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. It's more about mindset than income. I've seen people who earn decent money but are still stuck in that paycheck to paycheck cycle because their mentality is, I just need to get through this month. On the other hand, I've seen people who may not earn as much, but they're thinking long-term, making smart financial decisions, and ultimately, they're setting themselves up for success.
So, if someone's watching right now, and they feel like they're stuck in this survival cycle, what advice would you give them to start thinking differently about money?
Great question. The first step is to start seeing money as a tool, not just as something to cover expenses. It's important to budget, of course, but don't stop there. Even if it's just a small amount, think about how you can start investing in yourself or your future. That might mean setting aside a little money each month to invest in stocks, or learning a new skill that could lead to more opportunities. It's about creating something that will pay off down the line. Another thing is to start breaking that cycle of fear and stress around money. Easier said than done, I know, but it starts with small steps. Build an emergency fund, even if it's small. Get used to the idea of saving and growing your money rather than just spending it. Once you make that mental shift, even a little bit, you're already on the path to a different financial future.
That's such great advice. It's really all about changing how we think and relate to money, rather than just focusing on how much we make. Jake, thank you so much for being here and shedding light on this topic. It's been an eye-opener.
Thank you. Always a pleasure to talk about how we can all improve our relationship with money.
Well, folks, I hope you got as much out of that as I did. Remember, it's not just about what's in your wallet, it's about what's in your mind. I'm Lulu on the God's Truth Will Prevail talk show. See you in the next week.